So Slowbro does a lot of things well competitively, but as you're looking at its stats, the last thing it should be able to do is be faster than you and become a physical sweeper. So of course, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. We start off with a nice little belly drum, which yes, this thing can do, and now we've got ourselves to a +6 maximized attack. That brings our health down to some citrus berry action, and after some lunch, we're pretty healthy. Now using Slowbro's nice defensive bulk, we should be able to tank a hit long enough to set up a trick room, reversing the speed interactions. Also, this can't even be stopped by taunt or intimidates due to its oblivious ability, which is pretty sweet. With Slowbro being one of the slowest Pokemon in the game, there's almost nothing that can now outspeed us, and we can delete some stuff with Stab Liquidation, along with Zen Headbutt for coverage. Bellybro definitely has the element of surprise on its side, and today it's time to try to sweep some people with it. So it feels like the Slowpoke line is one of Game Freak's favorite children, and honestly mine too. So today we're going to show some love to the hippo with the shell on his tail that never seems to know what the hell is going on. If that sounds fun to you, you should consider hitting that subscribe button. I'm on my way to 400k, I'd love to have you as part of the journey. And with that, let's go ahead and jump into the match. Alright, so as my opponent decides to lead off with the Rhydon, I imagine it's probably just here to set up some Stealth Rock. I, however, have been doing a fun thing where I'm working with this spider and I'm bluffing the fact that I'm going to go for a Sticky Web. They probably feel like it's pretty safe to click Stealth Rock, but instead, boom, I'm Choice Specs, I hit him with an Energy Ball, and Rhydon is absolutely allergic to any special attack, water, or grass moves. That actually takes care of it, and I'm not Sticky Web at all. You've been bamboozled. So right off the bat, they're down 6-5, and they have a revenge switching of whatever they want to go for. Now, they bring in the Galarian Slowking, so we have a different slow sibling out here, and I am locked into Energy Ball, so obviously I have to get out of here. Now, I'm going to end up bringing in the Frostlass. That's because I figure this thing can't really hit me that hard. I can potentially set up some spikes, or just get some decent damage with a Shadow Ball. But as I come in, I get Thunder Waved, which is annoying. Now, I am Focus Sash, so I know I can live anything, and I also figure maybe this thing wants to swap out here, so I'm going to set up a layer of spikes, and that should break some potential sashes in the back, and this generally make my life a little easier. So they, in fact, are going to go for the Future Sight, and that is going to be, you know, buddy's looking toward the future. That's going to hurt in a couple of turns here, but for now, I'm going to continue sprinkling some sharp-ass Legos over there, and I would not want to be a barefoot guy walking over those. So I have 2 layers of spikes. That's going to be pretty helpful, and as they go for the Sludge Bomb, doesn't do much, but I get the Cursed Body, which is always fun, so hey, no more using that. Little free disable, and with that, I realize, you know what, I can pretty freely, I don't have anything that wants to touch this thing, you know, super well. So one thing I do have is Granbull, and as Granbull comes in, first of all, I'm not worried about a Sludge Bomb, but also then I can hit it hard with an Earthquake. So I come in, Tooth Fairy ready to knock some teeth out, and Intimidate doesn't really do anything, but as I kind of expected, they do go for a Chilly Reception. Now that's annoying, and this is something that's going to pair pretty well with another member of their team that's very scary, and that's the Baxcalibur. So that is not only going to go ahead and set up some snow, but it also allows them a little switch initiative. They can now swap into whatever they want. It's going to be the Baxcalibur, and this thing in the snow has a defensive boost, and in general, Baxcalibur is scary as hell. So I do take the Future Sight attack, and one reason why I went into freaking Granbull here was to take that, and I get critted, so that's annoying. Now, I'm Assault Vest, so I would have taken that decently nice. Crit hurts a lot, at least I'm still alive, so this is what I think. I can potentially bring Granbull back in for an Intimidate if needed, but for now, Slowbro actually comes in pretty nicely. I can take any attack this thing wants to throw at me. If it does decide to Dragon Dance, I think maybe I'm going to go for a Trick Room. So they are going to go for, they just bust out the Ice Terra. They want to go extra icy up in this, it's cold out. They got the snowflake on the head, it's snowing. Baxcalibur, one of the scariest things to go up against. So as they click Icicle Crash, it's actually pretty relieving. It's not going to hurt that bad. They do have the boost from the Ice Terra, but check that out. This is why they call our man Slowbro, back in college, they called him Thicky P. We take that easily. We're thick as hell. And while, you know, I figure maybe they swap out here, one thing I want to do before I come back in with Slowbro to potentially set up is get an Intimidate on the guy. Baxcalibur just would be a whole lot better if I can get that -1. Instead, however, they swap into the Slowking. That's something that I wouldn't mind setting this whole belly drum Trick Room situation up on against, but now we've got ourselves in a double switch situation, and Granbull is looking right at the Slowking once again. So we're like, hey, long time no see, buddy. I'm going to Intimidate you for no reason, but I'm also feeling pretty good about getting some good damage on an Earthquake here. I don't think it kills, but honestly, that kind of works out better. If I don't get a kill here, then I can bring in Slowbro again, essentially for free, well, at least sacrificing my almost dead bull. So I go for the Earthquake, and it lives. It lives on like 2 HP, which is kind of great. It knocks me out with a Sludge Bomb, which is fine, because I'm looking at it, trying to think a few turns ahead. I feel like Slowbro might be able to set up in this thing's face. The good thing is they haven't seen what this thing does, and no one's really going to expect the physical sweeper. So, as I bring in the Slowbro, I have a couple decisions. First of all, I could go for the Terra Ground to resist the Sludge Bomb, but as they go for a Future Sight, I imagine that's probably what they click there, and then I do want to conserve my Psychic typing to be able to live that. So, I get off the Belly Drum, which is great. Also important to note that Slowking is faster than me, so it goes first. I drum the old belly, and then just like that, we're at +6 attack. The scariest Slowbro in existence, and now all I have to do is live another attack here to be able to set up a Trick Room. I'm thinking Sludge Bomb is their best bet, but they go for the Chilly Reception. They want to swap the hell out of here, and while it doesn't set up the snow as it's already up, it does allow them to swap out here into whatever they want. As I'm clicking Trick Room, essentially everything they have is faster than Slowbro. That's one of this thing's benefits. You may think it's a downfall, but being slow actually works out pretty nice for us. Because as I go for that Trick Room, they swap into the Flygon here. Now with the Twisted Dimensions, this Flygon is looking at but he's in a bad position here. I can outspeed, go for the Liquidation. That is an easy one-hit KO. And that Flygon is not going to be flying anytime soon. So, here's the thing, I take the Future Sight attack on this turn, and since I'm still Psychic type, I'm able to live as it's resisted, and that's amazing, because we're set up pretty nicely. I got all the Trick Room turns ahead of me, at least 3 of them, and as they bring in Reuniclus, it looks like we're having some gummy bears for lunch, because this thing is not slower than me. I'm able to outspeed under Trick Room, a stab, +6 Liquidation is definitely knocking Buddy out, so that's a dead Reuniclus, and we're on a little bit of a tear here. Barring any priority, they might have something like an Ice Shard on the Baxcalibur. There's nothing they can really do at this spot because the Slowbro is just going to go first, and with the Belly Drum, this thing's an absolute unit. So they're going to bring in the Poltegeist, and guess what? Your ass is going to be turned into liquid as well. I'm talking watered down tea out here. That's a dead. I always want to say Sinistra. That's just the name. It's a Poltegeist, and that's a dead Teageist. So here's the situation. As they have 2 Pokemon left, I have 1 turn left of Trick Room, and as they go into the Slowking, we know that we are going to be faster than this thing. I got the 1 turn left. I'm just going to go ahead, bust out that Liquidation. That's a dead Slowking, and we've effectively gone on quite a tear with the Slowbro. The bad news in this situation is that, of course, you know, my Trick Room goes away here. When that Trick Room returns to normal, it's a little bit scary. So now we're back to being Slowbro. We were Fast Bro before, and their final mon is going to be Baxcalibur. Now, luckily, it's at least going to take a little more chip from those spikes. And as it's able to outspeed me, one of the best situations is it cannot Dragon Dance here. If it Dragon Dances, it just dies to a Liquidation. So it's forced to kill me. They go for that Breaking Swipe, does take care of the Slowbro. And, you know, while we do go down, we're proud of our guy. We've belly drummed on that ass, and we're feeling pretty good. So luckily, I do have some threats left. All I have to do is go into something that's faster than Baxcalibur. So I decide I'm going to bring in the Cobalion here, some Valerian Steel to finish it off for us, and there's no secret. Terra's back there. It can't go. It can't avoid these hands. Maybe I go for that close combat. That's a dead Baxcalibur. And that's going to be the end of the game there. So honestly, catching people by surprise with the physical attacking belly drum freaking Slowbro is actually really fun. And we love ourselves some surprises over here. So the Slowbro carries us to victory on that one. And that was an interesting game. So you already know that's going to bring us into game number 2. And we're going to see if we can get this thing to work again, and at least to try our best. Now, if you've stuck around this far into the video, I will ask, hey, hit that like button. It helps out the channel and the algorithm and the nonsense. And with that, let's jump into it. All right, so this time, my opponent decides to lead off with the Xbox 360. They're going to go Shiny Metagross. And I'm doing the same thing. I got the Galvantula that's just bluffing some Sticky Web here, and I'm basically, the main goal on this thing is to, if I have coverage, I click it, but if I don't, I get a big old Volt Switch with Choice Specs that's going to do a lot to anything. So I Volt Switch here, and seeing as it's a lead Metagross kind of makes me believe that they might have Stealth Rock, and I figure I should get Frostlass in before Stealth Rock comes up. I can keep my Focus Sash intact, and then we're in the money. So instead, this thing's going fast. They want to go for an agility, doubles its speed immediately, and that's a scary Metagross. Anytime this thing becomes faster than you, it's bad news. So good news is I do have the Focus Sash, and as they have that Meteor Mash, it does turn my ass into some Ice-type mashed potatoes, but I live it. I also get that Cursed Body to say, hey, you know what, don't do that shit again. That hurt. So, I mean, I do have the coverage with the Shadow Ball, which takes it out, which is always funny to like disable them right before they die. Like, go ahead and you're not going to be able to use that in the afterlife. So down goes the Metagross. That thing could have gotten a little bit out of hand, but we're pretty much in a good spot here. Now, they have a Galvantula of their own, and while Sticky Web against me isn't great, one thing is I know they're going to click it, so I'm kind of free to set up a layer of spikes here. I do want that hazard, but also I don't mind too much, and the reason for that is because, you know, obviously Slowbro with Trick Room is kind of our strategy here. So as they set up their Sticky Web, I'm going to have to deal with being extra slow, but also this Frostlass has one more little trick. Knowing that they're going to knock me out here, I can go for a cheeky little Destiny Bond. I did see that I was faster, so I'm free to click the Destiny Bond. And now if they touch me, they're screwed, which they do. They hit on the Thunder. That's going to be a dead Frostlass. But also, that takes care of Galvantula, and that's actually the biggest threat, you know, offensively versus our Slowbro. So that's actually good to see that thing gone. That's going to be a dead-ass Galvantula. And now we have we find ourselves in the rare empty battlefield situation where we're both going to choose what we want to swap into. I decided, you know what, might as well go for it. If I can grab a position with Slowbro right now, I can get kind of the game-winning momentum here, and that's the plan. So I'm going to bring in Paul. We're looking extra purpley and bluish today, and we're feeling good in the sunshine. So they decide to bring in the Great Tusk, and that's actually really good for me. I figured this Tusk, what it wants to do is probably go for a rapid spin. They have those spikes over there. They're probably like, ah, this is fine. And they're I imagine, going to click the rapid spin. Now, it does have Photosynthesis boost. It's going to go ahead and get itself a plus attack, and that's actually quite scary. I was hoping it wasn't going to be, but screw it, I'm going to go belly drumming anyway, and I figure I'm not going to get a better position than this, and I might as well give it a whirl. So they do go for the rapid spin, and while also it gets rid of my spikes, it's going to give it a speed boost, and this thing is extremely scary. But you know what's even scarier? Hippo belly drum, baby. I get off the belly drum. Now that's going to maximize my attack, of course, pops the citrus berry, and I feel like that's really good to get rid of my item. It first of all heals me up above half, but now if they have the knockoff coverage, it won't kill because I don't have an item. So all I have to do now is try to get up a Trick Room and see if I can make it happen. So as they click the Earthquake, listen, they're at +1 from that Photosynthesis, but we live it on 5 because we are actually the thickest goat out here. We live it barely. Allows me to twist the dimensions, and now we just get to see what we can do here. So I can outspeed now under Trick Room, pop a little Liquidation at +6. This Great Tusk is regular Tusk, and it's dead as hell. So in this situation, I feel like I'm probably stopped, because here's the thing. They have a Skeledirge in the back that's most likely unaware, and it doesn't mind my attack boost. But as they bring in Manaphy, they're probably thinking, hey, this thing can probably live attack, pick it off, don't have to worry about Skeledirge taking damage. Nope, how about instead you meet this Psychic Forehead, baby? I can bop him with a Zen Headbutt. That's going to be a dead Manaphy, and that's quite satisfying. So we catch a little bit of a slip up there, because as Skeledirge now comes in, this thing is unaware. It has no idea of my +6 attack, and while I can still hit it really hard with the Liquidation, I'm just in range to be picked off. But if for whatever reason this thing isn't unaware, they're screwed. I go for the Liquidation. It does just hardly live, or at least, you know, it does over half. But I mean, I get some huge chip, which is important, because as they finish me with the Shadow Ball, Slowbro got a little sneaky couple of kills there, and it's always satisfying to see it just outspeed stuff and just get a one-hit KO. So, you know, while the Slowbro goes down, our work is a little bit cut out for us, but honestly, that amount of damage on the Skeledirge was pretty important. I don't really have much that wants to touch that thing, and I kind of needed that damage. My best thing to touch it turned out to be Grand Bull. And you know, if Grand Bull is your best option against something, you're, you know, not really having a great time. However, since the Trick Room is still up, I can take advantage of that. The Sticky Web kind of ends up working in our favor. I come in, I'm extra slow because of that, and now I can outspeed, pop an Earthquake. So while Slowbro, you know, died to the Skeledirge, it was kind of the only thing that allowed us to easily knock it out. And then that's a dead Dirge right there. So that's actually pretty sweet. It's also fun to see Grand Bull kind of do some stuff. So sadly, the Trick Room does wear off. And why that's bad is because their final mana is going to be the Darkrai. If I could use that last turn to outspeed this thing and play rough it, that would have been the cherry on top. But unfortunately, it is going to be faster, and it does have a Sludge Bomb. Here's the good thing, though. I'm freaking Assault Vested Grand Bull, which is sick. I lived the Sludge Bomb, which is amazing. I do get poisoned, however, but not that big of a deal, because now, after some Life Orb chip, we get a big old Play Rough, and we do connect, and that's going to be a dead Darkrai. So that is also going to be the end of the game. We got some quick KOs there, results in a nice little speedy match, and that's gonna do it. That was also a fun game. This team has some interesting things going for it, and it's really fun to use. So thank you guys very much for watching. I really appreciate the support, and you already know I will catch you next time. Peace out.